Hey, what's going on, guys? Kingmaker here again on the trail, and I've got some information for you guys today. I got a new gimbal. I got this Insta360, and it's got AI tracking. It's pretty cool. Hopefully it helps with the stabilization. I hope. We'll find out. Seems like it's working so far. But yeah, what I want to talk about today is the way people get their players engaged. There's a lot of that going around on the internet. How do I get my players engaged? My players aren't engaged. Everyone's bored. And then they go online and they look up all the major dungeon tubers, right? And what do the dungeon tubers tell you? They give you world building advice. That's what they give you. They give you slop. Now, world building advice is good advice, but not for that topic. How are you supposed to fix player engagement by world building? They always give you that. Build a, have opposing factions that interest your players. Focus on your players' backstories they give you. Nah, that doesn't work. Never does. Gone through them all, experienced them all. I was at that point once where I was like, how do I get my players more engaged? And I would go and I'd watch all these big tubers and try these different pieces of advice they give for that. It never works. Why doesn't it work? Well, it doesn't work because they don't focus on the one thing, the most important thing that you need to focus on to engage players at the table. And that's roleplay. You see, this hobby puts little emphasis on roleplay nowadays, when the emphasis on the roleplay should be paramount at your table. Now, we're going to backtrack a little bit, because you've got to kind of first take a look at the people at your table for engagement. Not every person is an RPG player. Not everybody's gonna want to play a TTRPG. Some people may not get along with one another at the table, right? So how do you fix that? You have a session zero, and a lot of people don't have those. A lot of people like to jump right in, right? Choose the campaign. And I'm not saying everybody does this, but first of all, have your session zero. Have your players talk amongst each other and the GM. Everybody at the table talks, right? Players and GM. What do we want to run? What setting do we want to be in? What interests everybody? What kind of characters are we thinking about, right? Check out my channel. Check out Crispy's channel. They all have session zeros. I got like 2 or 3 right now posted, and you solve a lot of problems right in the beginning. Any kind of issues that might arise, you get a good feel for if they're going to happen or not. If players don't like one another, if someone's just not feeling the idea of roleplay, right? And with that, you have a social contract. And this is most important. The biggest issue next to roleplay, and this kind of goes hand in hand, is out of character talking at the table. I know it sounds strict. Everybody seems to love the rules in the book, but nobody likes the rules at the table. I don't know why. That's kind of weird. Out of character talking is the bane of a table. You should work to limit, if not eliminate, out of character talking at the table, and encourage meaningful, deep roleplay amongst characters at the table. Because I tell you what, if a player is unengaged now and they start role-playing and RPGs are for them, they have no time to be bored or to be disengaged, because they're in character, right? So it's critical to enforce roleplay at the table. And you do this in session zero. And if you're in a campaign right now, what do I do? I'm already playing. Do a reset. Do something else, right? All right, guys, let's talk about this. I want to run our next session fully in character. Minimal out of character talking. If not, you start that way. Start small. Practice that. Any questions on the rules? Any questions to the dungeon master. We don't do that. We call this 3D roleplay. Role-playing in the third dimension. You don't ask questions to the DM or the GM. You act out, through meaningful roleplay, your actions. What you're going to do. If you're going to, as a player, want to open the door in the dungeon, you don't meta question. You don't do meta commentary and ask the dungeon master, "Hey, can I open that door? Is it locked?" So the dungeon master can go yes or no, or try it and find out. That's not fun for anybody. And then instantly, when people start asking those questions to the GM, the other people at the table kind of glaze over and they become disinterested, and they're no longer engaged. Engagement requires immersion. You can't get immersed through meta commentary, turns by committee, and out of character talking. And none of it works. This is a role-playing game. And I know this is a hot topic for a lot of people, because people are going to say, "Oh, well, this is the only chance I have to see these friends, and we don't talk much, and this is our chance to all hang out around the table and chat." I mean, if your whole table's doing that and you're, I don't know why you're watching this video, because obviously your players are engaged with each other. So, but if you really are interested in engaging your players more, then you need to put a heavy focus on roleplay. It's the silver bullet. It really is. People look for the silver bullet all the time on how to get your players engaged. This silver bullet is roleplay. Get your players role-playing, and you have to enforce it strictly at the table. If you can't do it for more than an hour, okay, take a break. That's okay. Breaks are fine. Breaks are totally fine. I have no problems with that. Take breaks to bullshit out of character. You played for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Okay, everybody, out of character. Let's go get drinks, use the bathroom, hang out for about 20 minutes, and then we'll come back into it. You'll be amazed if you haven't done this before. It's a surreal experience when you're locked into a character for an hour plus, not talking out of character, and everybody around the table is rotating and round robin doing the same thing. It's like taking VR goggles off. It's like you just came back to the real world. It's a surreal experience. It's a powerful experience. It's the experience I think most people try and seek in this hobby, to get full immersion into their characters, right? And if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for an immersive table, vet the players. Find out if they're down to do that. If they're not, and you want more engagement at your table, you might have to, politely request they find a new table. Or if you're a player at one of these tables where there's just tons of out of character talking, you're unengaged, you're bored, think about role-playing more and finding a group that does full immersion roleplay, 3D roleplay, limited to no out of character talking. There's 4D roleplay as well, which has elements of co-creation, which we could talk about in a later video, which is what I personally play. But focus on the roleplay and vet your players, have the session zero, social contract. Silver bullet is roleplay. Simple as that. Roleplay solves everything. A great man once said that. Sean Driscoll. Shauner. Roleplay does solve everything. You'll be amazed. Give it a try. That's all I've got for you today. Appreciate it. Talk to you next time.